Welcome to the court gallery. Today we have a feature-length hearing from Judge Stevens' courtroom, and it is a masterclass in burning through second chances. We watch a man with an extensive list of prior convictions and a very red suit try to talk his way out of a very serious probation violation involving an OWI and a child passenger. First, the defendant attempts to rewrite the history of his past offenses while actively arguing with the prosecutor on the record. Then, an impressive lineup of character witnesses, including a pastor and a city councilman, step up to the podium to try and vouch for his seemingly reformed character. Will their testimony be enough to save him from a massive reality check? We're about to find out right now.
All right, let's take up the matter of Devontae Gilbert. All right, and you are Mr. Gilbert.
Yes, sir.
With Mr. Smith, your attorney, and the state's attorney is present. And in 23 CR 168, there is a motion to revoke probation that has been filed. Stand by, please. We've got two matters on Mr. Gilbert, right?
That's correct.
In 23 CR 168, there is a motion to revoke probation. In that case, as the defendant is on probation for evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle since January 28th of 2025. That is a third-degree felony. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and that was suspended, and it was placed on regular probation for 10 years. And we have a new case, 26 CR 156, an indictment handed up by the grand jury on January 28th of this year, which alleges that on or about August 30th of last year, going on a year ago, that the defendant committed the state jail felony of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated with a child passenger. And the child was 5 years of age. All right, let's see. Okay, help me out on this. I'm a little fuzzy on what the plan is. Go ahead.
On the new case, the
DWI.
DWI, he's entering a plea of guilty, and it's an open plea to the court.
Okay.
And we're pleading true to counts 1, 2, and 3 on the motion to revoke. And we have witnesses to.
What is the agreement for the dispositions, though?
So the only agreement, Judge, that we have is that whatever you decide on the motion, that it's going to run concurrent with both cases.
That's right, Jeff.
The state is seeking pen time on the motion to revoke probation and state jail time on the new charge.
Okay. Let's deal with this motion to revoke probation first. It's the first in time.
Yes, sir.
All right. In 23 CR 168, the state of Texas versus Devontae Gilbert. That is you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Present with Mr. Smith, your attorney, and the state's attorney. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke probation? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
And raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement made during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. In summary, this motion states that on January 28th of 2025, so that's what, a year and a half ago, over a year and a half ago, in this court, you were sentenced to 10 years in prison, and that was suspended. You were placed on regular probation for 10 years for evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. Is all of that true and correct,
Yes,
sir?
sir.
All right. Allegation one states you committed the offense of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated with a child passenger under 15 years of age on or about August 30th of 2025, which would have been 6 or 7 months after you were placed on probation, and that occurred in Jefferson County, Texas. And that is a violation of condition 1 of your probation order, which states commit no offense against the laws of this state or any other state or of the United States. It is also what is represented in this new indictment handed up by the grand jury in 26 CR 156 as of January 28th of this year. Is that do you understand what you're charged with here?
Yes, sir.
Is this allegation true or untrue?
True.
It is true. Are you pleading true voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that voluntarily and knowingly made plea of true to one or more violations of probation, that is enough to grant the motion to revoke probation? Your probation can be revoked and you can be sentenced to no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison.
Yes, sir.
Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today?
Yes.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. Allegation 2 goes on to allege this motion to revoke probation that you were at a location other than your residence at approximately 1:08 a.m., which is also, it says, violation of condition 19 of your probation order, which is be inside your home every day between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So that was 3 hours busting your curfew. What does the old say? Nothing good happens at that time,
Yes.
generally. Is that true or untrue?
True.
And are you pleading true to that voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes.
1 and 2 are sufficient, Judge.
I'm sorry?
1 and 2 are sufficient. I know they planned on pleading to 3, but 1 and 2 are sufficient.
And once again, you are pleading voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently to allegations 1 and 2, and you discussed all of this with your attorney, Mr. Smith, ahead of time, and voluntarily and knowingly made true to these 2 violations. That is enough to grant the motion to revoke probation, and your probation can be revoked. All right. Everybody has a position on this, and I'll ask, the state can go first and last, and I'll ask the defense to also sound in Mr. Smith on the defendant's behalf, and the defendant can also speak. A couple of things I want to ask, though, if y'all would help me, that I'm not getting answers to from this file. According to the report, a blood alcohol test was made of the defendant. A sample was made, and it doesn't show in my file what it came back.
0.165.
165. Okay, well, that's over twice the legal limit. All right, and also this public safety report that we pull that we have to determine. Has anybody seen all of this? Because I'm looking at the public safety report of the defendant. I'm going to make sure that everybody agrees this is what they understand. There was a Senator's report earlier made in this case. Do you have a copy of that? Because we urge that. Well, thank you, man. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And, yeah. And thank you. Yeah, this is what the public safety report from Department of Public Safety.
I do not have that.
The blue checks are prior convictions. And Mr. Jobert, you have a lot of prior convictions. How many?
I have 12 misdemeanors, 1 felony.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
I think the public safety report reflects something
All
different.
the way back to juvenile.
No, it goes back.
So I got.
But as a juvenile, you're, unless you were transferred to adult status,
Okay.
then I'm not going to consider that.
I have 14,
Juveniles
14 misdemeanors.
can make foolish mistakes, and while they're
14 misdemeanors and 2 felonies.
14 misdemeanors and 2 felonies. Do you think that's too many?
I know it's too many.
When did it become too many? After the first one?
No, when I realized life.
I'm sorry.
When I realized life.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay. Well, you've been an adult 7 years, right? 8
Yes,
years. Okay. When did you realize that this doesn't help you and is not in your best interest, and generally crimes come with victims, and we all, to live together in this country peaceably, are required to follow the rules so each of us can enjoy the blessings of liberty. Why do you keep making the mistakes? And here we are now, and out of all this, you've committed, after you made a promise to this court, and then within a few months, you're breaking the promise that you would follow all the rules by committing another crime that's similar. It's a traffic offense, and it's involving a child. And too often in this court, we have weeping and crying for mistakes made when people operate motor vehicles irresponsibly. They're nothing more than a 4,000-pound missile, and they do heavy tissue damage to people when they come into contact in a wreck. But you know that. And you know alcohol. I mean, you've got a child in the car. How old was the child?
5 years, my cousin's son I was bringing.
It doesn't matter. It's a 5-year-old child, and you have a responsibility when you're operating a 4,000-pound missile, not only for you, the safety of others driving, but also the child passenger. My goodness. Didn't that come across of importance to you? Their life is in your hands, and you're over twice the legal limit of alcohol, which makes you unable to responsibly operate a 4,000-pound missile at that time.
Honestly.
There's an old saying, we come in third. Our creator is first. Others are second. We're third. You put yourself ahead of everything, which is irresponsible, but it's selfish. You're supposed to be selfless. All right. Man, it's a child, my God. You know, they're all along for the ride. They can't control what's going to happen. Okay. I think the court has put up what the boundaries here are. So go ahead. The state want to go first, or do you pass?
You know, we have 3 witnesses that we wanted to testify for.
Right.
Go
Go ahead. The state can go first. State can go first and last under the rules. Did you want to defer or put anything on, Mr. Hans?
I would like to open because I want
Go
to
ahead.
know kind of where my thoughts are on this before you start hearing evidence. Judge.
Go ahead.
Back when I had this initial case, what Mr. Joubert is placed on probation for, Your Honor has had an opportunity to remind himself of the facts of that offense. The facts of that offense itself is so disturbing. The evading arises out of some indecent exposure that was going on with him out at Lamar, and Lamar was actively looking for him involving those particular instances.
You're talking about Lamar University here?
Correct.
He was around campus, yeah.
And those are items he was found guilty of from that are marked there as August 23rd, 2022,
That report.
where he got,
Bruce.
where he pled and accepted
Bruce.
responsibility for
Report I gave.
the underlying.
Do you
all-
need this?
I don't have that, but
Do you need this to just refer to? Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
the underlying offense where he's running from these officers on August 23rd, 22 was because they were looking for a guy who was basically working his way around Lamar University and was picking up girls and showing them his junk in order to try to, I don't know, pleasure himself. I don't know. Bottom line was,
Hold on, you're shaking your head, but let me stop you. Let him, he has a chance to be heard and you'll have a chance to be heard. But you were convicted of 2 indecent exposures, weren't you? You know what indecent exposure is? Okay, you don't get it for just taking your shirt off or taking your socks or shoes off. Okay, you got 2 separate convictions here for indecent exposure, which means there were 2 different acts of indecent exposure. Let's see, the arrest date was February 23rd, and you were convicted. And what you get 60 days in jail on each of those, right? Okay, let him speak.
so on the day that this is happening, Lamar is actively looking for the person involved. He runs from the officers. That's the evading, which in addition to pleading guilty to the indecent exposure, he pled guilty to that as well. This is what the officers were looking for, was the person involved with those indecent exposures. Based on his history, having already been to prison twice before on separate matters, I had no intention of offering somebody involved in those facts and circumstances probation. I was convinced by Pastor Adolph to give this man a second chance. And I point to him in the courtroom because I know you're going to hear from him today. And it was through representatives of his that I went against every grain in my being to give him another opportunity. In my opinion, that experiment has failed miserably. He only made it 8 to 9 months before he committed a new offense, which he's pled guilty to you today. So just like the indecent exposure, he's guilty of that. Just like the offense that he's on probation, he's guilty of that. And what he's going to do is continue to offer excuses. You're going to hear from folks, and then probably after that, I'm going to show you, Judge, that at the time in which this offense occurred, he's immediately at that stage trying to convince the officer to let him go. He's already worried about this day in court. When all that goes to not work in his favor, and he's sitting in jail getting his blood drawn, that's when we see the true Devontae Joubert. I've got that video for you to see as well when it's my turn, Your Honor.
Okay, now go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Mr. Joubert, let's talk about you were
He's going to ask you
on
questions.
probation.
Remember, you're still under oath, sir. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Placed on probation back in January 28th, and there was evading arrested. Could you tell the court get this first off, many times have you convicted of a felony?
Twice. I've been in prison once. He said I've been in prison twice.
So you've been in prison once. All right.
No, how many felonies? He said 2. You've got 2
The
felonies,
one-
which are,
The one I'm on probation for. And
What
the
it would-
the robbery I went to prison for.
you've got a robbery conviction and then the evading arrest or detention.
Right.
That's on probation. Yes.
Okay, that robbery was back, that happened about, God bless you. You were arrested in 2019. And go ahead.
Now, explain to the court what the situation was regarding the Lamar University and all that at that time.
The situation was, I was driving down Capitol Street and a Lamar police officer was going this way. I was going this way. They said they tried to pull me over, but I'm going like this. So when I get to the light, It's a red light. They have 4 police officers pass me up. The light turned green, I drive when it turned green. I turn on my street on Alabama, and I jump out my car and I say, what's going on? The reason why I pled guilty is because this man, he say every time we go to court, it's personal for him. Why am I personal to you? Every time I come to this courtroom, I'm standing here, I'm doing this, he's saying, oh, it's personal. Why do I gotta be personal to you? I understand all this.
Wait. That's why you pleaded guilty?
Man, because I don't want to fight him. It's
That's
just being
not what you
honest.
said. Wait,
it's-
hold on. Maybe you ought to talk to Mr. Smith. You're digging a hole right now. Because during the plea hearing, you take an oath.
Right.
And I even asked you, are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? And your answer is yes, under oath.
Yes.
And in the papers that you sign under oath, yes, I have committed each and every element of this crime. I am guilty of this offense and any lesser included offense. You're telling me today
I'm
that,
taking responsibility.
you know, we can't speak over each other. She has to take everything down and let me speak when I speak, and then you give a fair opportunity. See, you're not following the rules again, and it looks like you want to be in control. And here's the problem is you're telling me that you pleaded guilty for a reason other than contrition and that you were guilty because of somebody else doing something, which is violating your oath. That's perjury. And I'm going to ask them to look into that because you're under oath now. But everybody who pleads guilty, if they're doing it and not following the oath, then they can be held accountable for another crime because we don't want to make fiction here. We're trying to get to the truth.
Judge, if I may, this was brought up before. Mr. Ham asked me to independently look at the file, and I looked at it and concurred with his assessment of it. So it's not personal. It's something that we both believe is fair and just.
Well, but it goes down to what I make a decision over, and the paper is a document that you have sworn to that says, and I even ask you, are you guilty of this crime? Because you are guilty and for no other reason. You're coming up with something else. And that's perjurious.
The confusion, Judge, is that he's not talking about the evading.
He said I'm sorry, he said he pleaded guilty.
He was talking about those misdemeanors.
Okay, even that is the same
But that
thing.
wasn't before.
It doesn't matter what crime, when you plead to crimes, it's all the same.
I accept.
You have to admit you're pleading guilty, not I'm pleading guilty for other reasons. That's so people later don't come back and say, oh, I want to change this now. And you have it, and you had a representation by attorneys, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, they know as well you can't be doing that. So that's why the truth is important, or else this is a farce. We try to get to the truth. But when you're making a plea, you don't do it just for convenience. It's because you're accepting responsibility for your actions. So talking to me now about I did this for some other reason because somebody said something to me or something, that confounds the whole thing that you were on probation for. I mean, all that does is dig yourself a hole in more trouble. And perjury is a terrible crime. You've had enough crimes here.
Which,
Follow the
do
rules
you remember which
and take
court
responsibility.
those misdemeanors as far as
I
the
went to
indecency?
Clinton Woods.
Huh?
Mr. Judge
At the
Clinton
Woods?
Yes.
Judge Woods?
Mhm.
Okay. And on that night of the evading arrest, I mean, were you guilty of going around and exposing yourself to women?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
And so that's why you
Yes.
did that. But after that, you accepted responsibility on the evading and were placed on probation.
Right.
Tell the court now what is.
Hold on, let me stop you just for a second. Why would you do such a thing?
It didn't go down like that at all. And it just being.
Tell the court what it did,
It's not,
how it went down.
I really don't even remember the whole situation.
I can't.
I just let it go.
What, were you drinking or something?
No, no,
Oh,
I.
you were sober and did this?
Tell the court what is going on with your life now.
I've been out since December 17th. When I got out, when I was in jail, I said, I talked to myself and I got the same paper you guys got with all my convictions, all this, all that. Seeing my daughter come and visit me, seeing my mom crying, and I just made an oath to myself, hey, I'm done.
You have children?
Now I have a 3-year-old girl, a 5-year-old son, and a 6-year-old son.
Hold on,
I was sitting,
hold on.
I was.
You have a 6-year-old son?
That's right.
But you still committed these crimes? Some of these crimes while you had children at home?
Yes, sir, I did.
It's not. It's not enough that you can look into their eyes and see that your actions will affect them.
It took.
And that when you do bad things, they're going to be adversely harmed as well.
That's right.
And what is the greatest gift to your children?
My father, I feel like.
Sir?
My father, because I didn't have.
No, your greatest gift to your children
You can do that.
is to set a good example
Right,
and to be a role model because they're going to emulate what you do.
right,
That's a natural phenomenon.
right,
That's why you don't live just for you when you have children.
right,
You live and you become third.
right.
The creator is one, others, your children second, and you come in third. That's selflessness versus selfishness. But here's the deal, you can always stop and act correctly and responsibly. Maybe this is your time, but for far too long, you have headed in the wrong path and made excuses, not accepting responsibility. And you did that today. But
On the night that you were
Fix it.
arrested for this DWI, that you're pleading guilty to.
Right.
You told the officers that you had a couple of drinks, right?
Right.
And you did not feel that you were really intoxicated until I explained to you what the legal definition of intoxication was.
So,
And so you agreed with me that technically you were intoxicated. You don't believe, we've had great discussions. We've talked to an expert. You don't believe that 0.165 is accurate.
right, but I knew, after I spoke to you, I knew that I was physically not myself. So that's why I played with it. I didn't know.
Because you had lost some of the use of your mental and physical faculty.
Yeah.
All right,
So when I was explaining it,
go ahead.
we was about to show a video that night.
Go ahead.
The night I got pulled over, it's the same officer when I went to prison, and we had a conversation. I was a trustee in Jefferson County. We had a conversation every day he come to work. And I used to talk to him and tell him, hey, this and that. And the night when he pulled me over, and I'll be honest with him because I knew him. He asked me, hey, have you had some drinks? I said, yes, sir, I have, And he told me to get out, did what he had to do. I agreed to everything until he told me he was taking me to jail. That's when those videos come of me being belligerent, cursing, talking crazy because my feelings were hurt.
because what?
Me talking belligerent, crazy, and everything because my feelings was hurt.
Your feelings were hurt.
Yeah. And so that's when all this come from talking crazy.
What do you mean your feelings were hurt?
So because me and him had a conversation and he used to always tell me, hey, you're capable of doing better, you're capable of doing this and that, and you're taking me to jail. But, I coached him out and did all that, went back and forth. But as soon as I got out of jail, I reached out to him, called, met him at the police station, apologized to him, told him, I understand how wrong you were doing your job. My bad, I'm going to do better. And he accepted my apology, But the thing is, he's trying to show this video that I'm just this guy. But like I said, I went from It took me to go back that time and to see my daughter through this glass, crying, and all this and that. When I got out, I started doing the right thing. I just got blessings after blessings. I got a brand new house out this board. I have contracts with Walmart.
Your new house, what is the address of that?
7895 Kemple Circle.
Is that here in Beaumont?
Yes, behind Populous.
And do you have your, do you have your own, construction company?
Yes.
And what's that called?
DJ's Redeemed Construction.
And as a matter of fact, concerning the construction company, you just finished, a construction job at Antioch Church, is that correct?
Correct.
And also, are you a manager of, you have a separate job of being a manager of Airbnb property?
Correct.
Okay. Are you also part of a nonprofit organization that's called Dr. Violating?
Correct.
Could you tell the court what type of organization that is?
So even though I'm going through everything I'm going through, knowing I gotta go to court, not knowing what's gonna happen, I'm still out there going, trying to talk to you and tell them, hey, my situation, I'm doing this, I'm doing it, because at the end of the day, regardless of what happened, I know my heart's standing in this situation now. I know that this is my last time standing up for it.
But you still have to accept and deal with the responsibility of your mistakes.
I accept it.
Okay.
And on this, evading that you're on probation for, that was not a high-speed chase. Is that correct?
Yes.
That was just, explain to the court
It
what,
was me driving to my house.
okay.
What's simple as that. That's all it
We
was.
weren't speeding.
No, I
Anything of
wasn't
that?
doing nothing. It's I'm straight to my house.
All right.
But hold on. But you committed the crime of
Correct.
evading
I
arrest,
took-
right?
I took-
Okay. It can be committed in ways other than speeding. Okay, because it's a 4,000-pound missile. If you're going 10 miles an hour, people aren't going to stand in front of you. You're going to roll over
I'm
them.
not saying I didn't.
You committed the crime. Okay, it may not have been egregious, but still, when the police have the lights, siren, you got to pull over
Yeah.
and deal with it. Not on your terms, but on the law's terms. Okay. Go ahead.
So, in summary, tell the court where you think you are. Why do you feel that you're asking the court to continue you on probation?
Right.
And why do you feel that the court should give serious consideration to that?
Because I don't usually come up here and talk. I'm what y'all do, what y'all gotta do, and I'm a silent, I'm going about my day. I'm up here fighting for my freedom because I'm done. And personally, and I know this might sound crazy, I gotta point the finger at this man because he think I'm a failure. He think I'm not gonna make it. And I got a point to prove. I got kids, man. And like I
Wait,
said,
you said, what did you just say? You
I got
have,
kids.
didn't you have children when
Yes,
you were
but
committing these crimes?
I had to realize myself. It doesn't, I understand I have,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, I was just still caring about myself.
Okay, it's never too late, but you still have to pay the responsibility for committing the crime. Okay, all right.
Anything else that you want to add as to why you want the court to consider, continuing you on probation?
All I can say is I'm gonna let my actions speak for itself. I'm done. Y'all got me. Y'all got what y'all gonna get out of me. I'm done. Not gonna see me no more.
You can imagine, I wish I had $1 every time I heard that up here,
That's understandable.
but just walk the walk. Don't just
Got it.
talk the talk. Okay. Go ahead, Bruce.
I've asked the witness,
Anything from the state?
Yes,
Go ahead. Yeah.
PSI judge. All right, so let's try to do this in an orderly fashion. Yeah, that's the unfortunate side. When you decide to talk with the court, you have to also answer my questions. According to, let's deal with this chronologically. You have a juvenile history, and the reason why that's relevant, sir, is the fact is in 2016, you committed 2 felony offenses, theft from a person and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which resulted in you going to what's commonly known as TYC. Remember that?
Texas.
What you may not be familiar with is that underneath the law, that can and would be used against you as a felony conviction. Should have been told to you that back when you dealt with this when you were a juvenile. You understood that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you received a probation from this judge for the offense of robbery back in 2019. And that was revoked. And I happened to be the attorney on that whenever you appeared in court and you received 4 years TDC, correct?
It was revoked for what?
That's my follow-up
Thank
question.
you.
What was the motion? Do you remember on the motion to revoke as to
Yes,
why you were revoked? What was it?
because I didn't show up for my weekends and I had a whole bunch of theft charges.
Okay. And that was in 2019 was the original offense. You were actually revoked in 2021, right?
Yeah, because of Sean.
Right. That was August of 2021. And then a year later, you're involved with these offenses that we've been talking about with the court, correct? Let's talk about that next. I'm showing your lawyer the PC affidavits for those 2 indecent exposures. These are court records, so they're admissible on that basis alone. Do you have any objections?
As those are official government documents, I cannot object.
Okay.
There were 2 different women, probably the state's exhibit 2.
However, I do object to the hearsay contained within.
Hold on. Now, what are you referring to?
These are probable cause affidavits on those.
On the 2 matters he's pled guilty to and got 60 days jail time.
Okay.
These are the indecent exposures.
Okay. Well, at the time, when the was a pre-sentence report made in that
On the
case?
misdemeanor offense?
Yeah.
No, sir.
But on this case, there was. On the evade.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask him 2 questions on that, and then I'm going to hand them for your review, Jeff. There were 2 different ladies involved with claiming that you exposed yourself to. Do you agree or not?
I agree.
Okay. And these happened back on August 23rd, 22. They're on Lamar campus, correct? Ms. Horn has said that she approached your car. You were sitting in the driver's seat stating, "Let me show you what you're missing out on," and exposed your penis to her.
I don't agree.
You don't agree. Second lady, Miss Menino, stated that while you were driving, she glared over at you and saw you exposed your penis and you began masturbating.
Why would she be in my car?
And then you stated, "I don't know, I don't know what you thought this was."
But the thing is, why would she be in my car?
You don't get to ask me questions.
But you can ask me questions.
Yes, sir, I can. Did you say that to the lady?
Yes.
And you were masturbating on that day?
No.
That all precedes the event where you are arrested and charged with the offense of evading arrest.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree
I agree.
that those 2 incidents that the judge will read in the probable causes, that's the reason why Lamar was looking for it?
That's understandable.
Do you agree or disagree? Officers in this deal, despite what you said in the PSI, which went unobjected to, said that you sped off at a high rate of speed. Do you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
That you disregarded all stop signs and the safety of others in that area, including kids on the bikes.
Disagree.
They did say that you finally stopped at 400 block of Alabama
That's
Street.
right.
That's the one thing you agree with, right?
Yes, ma'am. But
But
Can I say something?
go ahead.
Why don't you, before you say anything, talk to him privately so nobody can hear you, so he can give you advice. Thank you.
Lieutenant.
Okay, what you just read all my criminal history. One thing that you didn't mention, is I understand because it's your job, about the gap in my criminal history. Therefore, what I mean by that is this: juvenile all the way to 2021. I didn't stay out 30 days. I was back and forth in jail. You catch me when you catch me. This time, motion to revoke with this DWI, I called my probation officer and told my probation officer, hey, I caught a new charge. I called you guys every day to see when I had a warrant for my arrest. They didn't have to chase me. I wouldn't turn myself in. So it's things that you're saying, and I understand it, but people change.
You pled guilty to the offense of evading arrest.
That's cool.
I've stated to you for the record what the officers
Right.
alleged. You're disagreeing with that.
Right. No, I'm agreeing to, I pleaded guilty to evading detention in a motor vehicle. Because that's what happened. If they say I ran, I drove to my house, but I'm not pleading guilty to the things that they said that I did. It's a difference.
The two things I'm concerned with is that you were driving at a high rate of speed and disagreeing with stop signs.
No, sir.
You disagree with that.
I disagree.
But you pled guilty to the offense.
Because I evaded from them. I went to my house.
You know that you cannot legally do that, correct?
It's called illegal.
Sir?
You said I can't illegally do what? Drive to my house? If I'm nervous, you got 4 or 5 laws behind me.
That's the mistake that a lot of people make. That is not a proper thing to do in the law, sir.
That's understandable, but I asked you a question about the gap between my criminal history.
All right,
You're bringing up everything that I've been doing or what I have going on, and you're not speaking the facts that you know, because you don't, you like I said, you have a personal eye to me. I have recordings of you saying this on while we right here. This is personal to me.
pretty much what I have said on the record, and it's clear for the court's record, is that I do feel like when I gave you the opportunity that gave you this chance, and I said, I feel like I've got egg on my face. I do feel like I went out on a limb for you.
But then the day,
And frankly, Mr. Juber, it's not personal. What it is I do feel like you failed.
right? But
So let's talk instead about the offense. Okay?
I'm not worried. We already discussed offense. What I'm trying to make clear to you is this, Mr. Ham,
Hold on,
that
hold on. You don't get to decide how the hearing.
decided
Please stop. It's one, you don't follow the rules. You have a fair opportunity to be heard. He, by his oath and his job, he can inquire. He's a prosecutor and they can inquire representing the people.
Yes, sir.
And you may answer or not.
Yes.
And then Mr. Smith gets to put you on and you can put the whatever evidence you want. But you don't decide the way the hearing works. I mentioned that you like to be in control, but this doesn't show that you're really doing a good job on control and making the right choice, which here's what's disappointing. I think you're capable of it. You're capable of success. That's why I'm frustrated that you've had this many mistakes, because you seem capable, and I hate failure. I hate failure, and especially people who are capable of doing better. I would like to ask questions by his job, and you may answer or not, and the court gets to determine what weight and credibility is to be given by the evidence. But you don't get to control the proceedings. The state can ask and do its thing, and then the defense can, and then you have a fair opportunity to be heard.
So let's shift gears to August 30th. That's the night you were arrested for DWI with a child.
Right.
Have you watched the videos contained in discovery that's been provided to your defense counsel?
Yes, I watched it, and I explained to you because
I'm not asking you to go into an explanation.
Yes, I watched them.
All right.
I was busy.
So hang on. Do you recall that the officer, after he placed you, or after you're talking to Officer Weeks at the right there at the patrol car,
Right.
he leaves you there for a moment and he goes to talk to the passenger? Do you remember that?
Right.
Do you remember what he asked her?
Where did we go? Well, he didn't tell me what he asked.
Right, but you've watched the videos.
He didn't tell me where he went. The only thing that I know, I was belligerent and I was acting out of feelings with him.
Do you remember when she told him that you were drunk whenever you showed up to pick her up?
Correct.
Do you remember
Correct.
her detailing all the amount of drinks you had before and after she got you?
Correct. I'm not saying I'm not taking responsibility for that. I did it.
And all those were different from what you told that officer that day?
Correct.
All right.
And I went back.
Second thing, isn't it true, sir, that whenever you realized that you knew this officer, that you were trying to avoid this whole thing, not be arrested?
Yes, sir. I was asking him, could I call somebody to bring me home? I'm not saying you're wrong. That's
Okay.
exactly what happened.
All right.
You know,
Did you watch the video that when your blood was being drawn at the jail?
yes. Did you see how many times they stuck me?
Sir? Well, how would you describe your attitude that day?
Belligerent. I was going crazy. I was in my feelings.
And what were you calling people?
Everything in the book.
And do you think that what your action was appropriate?
No, I knew it was not appropriate. That's why I took the steps to go apologize to him like a man.
There was more than him involved.
Both of them and Roy Carroll got an apology from me.
What about the nurse?
The nurse, I spoke to the nurse when I went to jail for my motion to revoke probation. She's the one booked me in. I apologized to her first.
You were belligerent and offensive to Officer Weeks.
Correct. The other officer and the nurse.
Officer Tyler.
Correct.
And the nurse.
Correct. I'm not saying I wasn't. I'm telling you.
Not acting like you are today.
Because at the end of the day, I learned from my mistakes and I want to apologize to them. They accept my apology and we moved on with life about it.
I have no other questions, Ian.
I got one more thing.
He'll ask you and he'll give you a chance.
It's a statement.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hammond, is nothing against this. I understand you doing your job, but I'm not a failure and I'm gonna prove you wrong. And regardless if I go where I have to go today or the Lord let me go home, I'm gonna prove you wrong that I'm worthy of being on this earth and doing what I have to do as a man. And that's that.
Wait.
You and I have discussed.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm a little fuzzy about what's he wrong about?
No, I
Because
didn't say he was wrong.
well, he said you're gonna prove him wrong.
Because he said
I mean,
failed. He said I'm a failure.
well, you were failure on probation is what he says. And by committing these violations that you've admitted to. Okay. Nobody's saying you're a failure. You're capable of doing great things. Just make those good choices.
Oh, sir.
Go ahead, Bruce.
You and I discussed on as far as what you were placed on probation for, the evading, that, I mean, there is an offense called failing to elude, which is a misdemeanor, which is failing to pull over, when officers are instructing you to pull over. And you explained to me that is what occurred that night. You failed to stop when the officers were behind you, because you wanted to get to your house. But there was no high-speed chase, is what you're saying. Is that correct? All right. But after being, explained after you and I were talking about this, you agreed that technically you did violate the offense of evading for failing to stop.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the judge?
Like I just told you before, my actions don't speak louder than my words. He done heard it multiple times, but if I say I'm done, I'm done. I got too much to lose right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God.
It's honest. But
And are you supporting your children right now?
all my children stay with me.
All your children are with you.
Yes.
And that's at the new house, 7895 Kemper Drive.
Correct.
All right. Is there anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, I've asked the witness.
What happened on July 28th, 2026?
July 28, 2026.
Yes, sir.
Probation?
Yeah.
Okay, I went to probation. I went to probation, completed my MTRP class, went to do a UA, failed for alcohol, brought her my paperwork from my doctor.
That says what?
That said that this is promethazine that has 7 to 8% and will fail in the urinalysis.
Okay. So this is prescribed medication.
Correct.
And you presented to the probation officer the proof
Yes,
that
it has.
this while you're taking this medication, if you were to take your analysis, it will show alcohol.
When I first was sick, during February, I presented it to her, but she said she didn't have it no more. So I went personally myself because the urinalysis lady was arguing back and forth with me. So I made it to go to my doctor, and my doctor wrote a report saying that, hey, this is, this will fail. And I brought it to her, and that's what it was.
Yet you had not consumed alcohol.
Right. I have not drunk. I got a breathalyzer in my truck that I blow in every day.
All right, so since I was the one asking questions,
Oh, I apologize.
Go
That's
ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
on July
Everybody get their
28th,
hands.
you tested positive for alcohol. It was after that day, you argued with it and you said, I've got reasons, and you came back and you brought them a medical excuse that was done when?
Medical excuse was done February,
When did you bring it back to them?
the same day.
Right, you didn't have it on your person when this
The
happened,
thing is,
correct?
this is already sent to her.
Sir, I don't want to argue with you. I'm just asking for a yes or no answer. You came back with the doctor's excuse,
Correct.
right? I got it. You're saying that you had that before and you gave it to her before.
Right.
You're telling the court she told you that that didn't happen, that she didn't have it, right?
Yes, she told me. I sent it in an email, a picture of the prescription bottle. But the lady that takes the urinalysis, she told me no, it's an opiate. I went to my doctor.
Promethazine is, sir.
It not oral, not liquid promethazine, sir.
Right.
And I went to the doctor, and the doctor printed out a paper and say, hey, they can say what they say, but I'm a doctor.
So your excuses for that incident is what you told the court, much like your excuses about indecent exposure, the evading, and now the DWI with the
The
child.
thing about it is I'm not taking excuses. I'm taking responsibility for those.
With explanations.
That's not an excuse. That's exactly what happened.
Right.
It's not an explanation. I'm telling you I did it.
Yes, sir.
You trying to get me out of my character. I'm telling you I did it.
No further questions, Judge.
Anything, Bruce?
Nothing further. We have three witnesses that we like.
Okay.
We call Pastor Adolf.
How do you want to do it? You want to do it at the table?
Yeah, he can come up.
What can I say? I'll close it out.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Lower your hands. Go ahead.
For the record, sir, would you state your name?
My name is John Adolf.
Okay. And could you, for the record, could you also just tell us what you do for a living?
I am the pastor of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church.
And that is the same church that he just recently did some work on, construction work at your church.
That is correct.
Could you tell the court what your knowledge of is of Mr. Joubert and what you would like to tell the court about?
Judge, I've been the pastor of Antioch for 30 years, and I've known Devontae for 28 of those years. His childhood, young ages of adolescence, young adulthood have been peppered with problems. His family sits on the same pew every Sunday, and I've watched him grow. I've watched him make so many mistakes. He has been the kid for me we've always had to keep an eye on. Always had to say, but where is he now? When I ask for, grace and mercy towards him in his last condition, I just knew that he would be able to stay on the straight and narrow. The DWI that he had received was very hurtful to me. I was very disappointed. When I look at his past and consider that charge, my mind said he's doing so well. It is why I'm in court today, because this is the best version of his personhood that I've ever seen. I have preached to him issues of honesty, transparency, integrity, and responsibility. Every time we talk, I say, where are you? What are you doing? How's it going? And right now, this is the greatest I've ever seen him as a young man. I think it has taken all that he's been through to get him to where he is today.
The court's decision today is to revoke his probation, and put him in the penitentiary, or not revoke his probation, but continue him on probation and not put him in the penitentiary. What is your feelings about those choices?
Hold on. And there's a second case that
Yes.
is a felony and options of probation or
Well, that's the DWI.
Finding guilty. Or options as well.
What are your thinking? What are your thoughts about as to what he should? Any kind of guidance you give to the court as to what he should do with Mr. Jubert?
One, I think that if he's shown leniency, grace, and mercy, I don't think you'll ever see him again. I think that right now, I feel in my heart that he's the man that I've been praying he'd become. Get up, go to work, come home, love your wife, take care of your children. Where are you? What are you doing? And to move him forward. I don't think you'll see him again. I think he's reached a limit on whatever he's done before now. Will he be perfect? No, hold on. I don't want to paint pictures of pseudo perfection. I think that'll hurt us all. At the same time, I do believe that he'll be in a lane that pushes him forward and really cause him to be a good, productive citizen. I believe that. When I check with him, I've talked to him almost every week. Right now, we have a little over 6,000 people at our church. And I've just taken him under my wing to say, where are you? What are you doing? And how's it going? Where are you working? How's your children? And what I hear from him consistently makes me feel like if we give him another chance, I don't think we'll see him again.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Pastor,
Yes, sir.
I didn't realize you had a flock of 6,000 people.
Yes, sir.
I know you're a busy man. And I want to get, you and I have not one-on-one visited about this young man.
No, sir.
Right. First off, great book. Come to the table. When are you and Bishop Toops writing another one?
I hope soon. He's going to have an ecumenical gathering, and I will be away in Nevada in revival. I'll have to miss it, but I was hoping to be there. They changed the date. We had a date set for this wonderful ecumenical luncheon, which I think we are way overdue for.
Yes.
And no one could do it, I think, like Bishop Toops could do it, to just bring all of these denominational heads together, sit and talk about what we can do to make Beaumont great. And I was looking forward to it. So I don't know when we'll author the next one, but I hope it'll be soon.
So I mentioned,
Just, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I hope that not only the prayers, but also that some thoughts to be given to help us, me and others in the criminal courts. We're the 21st largest county in the state with the 15th highest crime rate. And we are busy here, and we can use all the help in prayerful guidance as we can give. So thank you for, because this is not an evil county. It's wonderful. We've got a work in progress, and we all have a part to play in helping mitigate the crime, the crime epidemic that we have. And there aren't many counties that have a proportion of crime based upon population that's high like I understand. And we're working as hard as we can, and we need all the help. Spiritually.
Yes, sir.
I believe it works. So go ahead.
Thank you, John.
I too honor shepherds.
Thank you.
And I know that your flock is huge, and I know you do a lot of hard work. That's why I mentioned my shepherd is Bishop Toops.
Yes, sir.
It's tough when you've got that. And one of the things that you've stated, there's several things that are ringing really close to my heart, and I want to go back to it. When did you start taking such a personal approach that you described to Mr. Smith with Devontae?
I would think when his mother came to me, and I don't know which one of those incidences it was on, according to that litany of things you all shared about his past. But his mother would come to me on a regular basis. We have prayer cards at our church, and people fill them out and they would send them to me.
Prayer intentions.
Yes. And I would get one with his name on it. That's how I got to really know. His family would sit on the second pew to my right every Sunday, and there'd be these little boys sitting there. And so as they grew up, she would always tell me, please pray for Javante. Please pray for Javante. So it became just almost like a chorus. Pray for him, pray for him, pray for him. And her burden became mine. I don't really know the exact time or date, but that burden became something that I would take home, and my wife and I would pray for him.
Good. And obviously, no matter what happens, you continue to do that.
Absolutely.
Right. And we both can agree there's only been one perfect man that's walked this earth.
Yes, sir.
Right. The rest of us are just striving to do the best we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You did not personally talk with me before I offered him the probation on this case, but you did have others come and approach me on his behalf.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
And you know that efforts were made with your name attached to give this man another opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Were you advised that that was done with an extreme amount of reluctance on my part?
Yes, sir.
Were you advised it was solely because your name was attached to it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was it after that that you started to watch him?
Yes, more so then. And to really try to make sure he was in worship on a regular basis,
Yes.
and to make sure that he was really bearing down on what he should be doing. The evening of the DWI, should I say, the early morning of it came as a shock to me.
Right.
I was disappointed and shocked.
You described it as a disappointment.
Yes, sir.
I had that same thing, and you've heard the discussion he and I've had. I don't see him as a failure, but I see that as a failure.
Yes.
Don't you?
Yes.
I mean, because it was based on your words, your reputation, and the ability that he would follow.
Yes.
But he failed in that regard. He failed,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is there anything you could have done differently to prevent that?
Well, when I spoke to his mother about that very evening, he was just kind of wanting to just get away and to relax and just be with his friends.
Celebrating a recent graduation.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So when I spoke to his mom about this incident, she said, Pastor Adolph, I cautioned him to stay. She said, but he really wanted to get away and just live a minute. He felt like he just wanted to just be able to laugh and talk. And I said, I understood that. And I just wondered in my heart and my brain, at what point was one too many? When did he lose control of that moment? I've always just thought about that. And I've cautioned him on it. My father suffered with alcoholism for 31 years. So it's one of the reasons I don't drink, because I know the demon that it can be. So I just often played it back in my mind. And I spoke to his mom about this on at least 3 other occasions before today, just talking to her. What happened, this, that, and other. And had he not gone, we wouldn't be here today. He'd be doing, just on the straight now. Had he not gone, the video, because he mentioned that to me, he said, Pastor, I was really out of character on this video that they took. And I said, well, what I want you to do for me is be honest. Don't sugarcoat anything. Be transparent, be honest, take responsibility for that. And I just wonder what would have, this day would have never really been this day without that moment.
Can we agree that had he followed the rules of probation and ceased his celebration before 10 o'clock and gotten home, we probably wouldn't be sitting here?
Yes, sir.
And if he'd followed the rules, obviously we wouldn't be dealing with this.
Yes, sir.
Follow your advice, his mother's advice, we wouldn't be here. But he's a grown man and he made his own decisions. True.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk about the second thing that you talked about. And I think you and I can both agree on this. It's important for a man to have integrity.
Yes, sir.
Do you think this man here has expressed integrity specifically in his actions just today in court when he's been arguing with me about doing my job in them?
I think that he has been just to a push to be emotional. I think that he wants the truth to really come out. And it's so much layered. That's why I talk to him so much, because so many things are layered. It's almost like peeling back pieces of an onion.
So what layer are we missing?
I don't know if we're missing them. I think that right now, what I wish, we had the time to do is really figure out what really happened. Like so many times I wanted to ask him now, what happened with this? And what happened with that? And the story is always just layered, So I would reach to say that as I
That's
listen to
two and
him
three.
talk to
What do
me,
you play?
2 and 3.
what I would reach to say is that as we listen to him talk today, one of the things that I've really been pleased with is he hadn't tried to hide anything. I don't want him to hide anything.
I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibits 2 and 3. These are the probable cause instances where on August 23rd, 22, he was using, at best explanation, a really bad way to try to pick up girls at Lamar University. One in which he exposed himself and told a young lady, this is what you're missing out on. And used the same line similar as he masturbated when he had another one in his car. Is that a man of integrity?
So
Did he tell you about doing those things?
I heard about the case at Lamar. I did not know about the intricacies or the intimacies of this man. No.
When we have integrity, we admit our mistakes and we come and we talk to it. And I don't want to get into confidences where you may have shared that information, but you didn't know this detail.
No. I knew about the case at Lamar University a few years ago, but I did not know about the specific allegations that are listed.
Thank you, Pastor.
Pastor, you heard this morning, and he's been make sure that the court realizes he's taking responsibility and he's telling the truth. And you heard him argue with Mr. Ham about the things that those two women, some of the things that those two women did simply not. And like even the officer saying it was a high-speed chase, he says that did not happen. I just did not stop. You heard him tell his version of what happened that night. Is that correct?
That's true.
And the thing that on the night of this DWI that he was celebrating, he had just graduated.
Yes.
He wanted to, and he made the mistake of being with his friends to celebrate that graduation.
Correct.
And where he got his commercial driver's license and whatnot.
Correct.
Which was a big step, for him.
A milestone for us.
That wasn't the mistake he made. It was operating a motor vehicle with a child. A child passenger while intoxicated. Not one, but two people were put in jeopardy there, and a child who just goes along for the ride. And it's our duty, our responsibility to protect them. You had two souls in that car. Yeah, go ahead.
And is there anything else, Pastor, that you would like to tell Judge Stevens that we haven't covered?
No, there's nothing else that hadn't been mentioned that I can think of that comes off the top of my head, other than the fact that I'm proud of you being honest today here. I'm thankful for you to be transparent, honest with integrity, and take responsibility for the things you take responsibility for. And in my mind, that's good Christian manhood. Stay on this street no matter what happens. This is the boulevard that I think you ought to be on. This is the street that I think leads to things that will lead you to favor with God. I'm very proud of that. I don't think you've tried to cover anything, mask anything. And I feel for certain in my heart that if we show him the type of leniency that I think that he could gain or possibly gain, that we won't see him again.
I have nothing, brother.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Anything at all asked to add by the parties?
Yes, I have let's call AJ Turner.
Come on. And raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir,
Please
Judge.
lower your hand. Go ahead.
For the record, sir, would you please state your name?
I'm Albert AJ Turner.
All right, and Councilman Turner, what do you do for a living?
I'm a city councilman, elected official, and an entrepreneur.
All right. Could you tell the court what is your involvement with Mr. Jubert and with the things that you would like to inform the court?
Well, I look at him like a little brother. He's a kid I kind of been mentoring on and off since he was in high school. And often, I just rather be factual. We have young black men who don't have other black men they can look to that are guiding them, giving them the proper direction and showing them this is how things can actually be done. He literally sits 2 rows in front of me at church. And I remember seeing him start off at church by himself. But I also been seeing, as of lately, he's coming with his kids. And that really resonates with me.
And here, and how long have you been involved with him?
Man, since he was in high school.
Okay. The man that he is now, I mean, you heard him testify that he just bought a new house at 7895 Kemper. He has his own construction company. In fact, he just finished a job at Antioch Church, and he's a manager at Green Properties, and he's highly involved in a nonprofit organization called Stop the Violence.
Mhm.
Is this the man the man that you see now? Is he a difference in the man he was known in the past?
Yeah, but like most young men, I watch the cycle and the system, and I understand the way systems work. They get in trouble, and often one of the biggest things that I try to teach is accountability. I see people run from it. I see them make excuses. I even see them get emotional today. I almost wanted to get up and say, calm down. I literally wanted to. That's why I'm doing it now. But taking accountability is hard. And even people who you look up to, hearing some of these things about you are even harder because we pass a lot of judgment in life. So I think one of the toughest things for him is even me being in the crowd, hearing some of these things. But who I am, I used to be a parole officer. I try not to get caught up in who somebody was, and I focus on who they're becoming. And I try my best to work with them to make the best version of them. But I do understand if you make mistakes, you have to be held accountable. So what I have seen him develop into, even him telling me he was ready to get married, I was kind of shocked when he gave me a phone call when he got his first contract at Walmart. You know, he called me excited about it. And I'm like, you know, just to see where I knew he was at, all the mistakes and things I knew he's done, and to see where he's going, it really shocked me, made me feel good about it. But when I heard about what happened, it was definitely disappointing.
And the man that you see, everything that he's doing now with his life and taking care of with his children and all of that, is that the type of man that you're convinced that if this judge was to see fit, would give him a second chance and allow him to be on probation, that we would not see him again before this court?
Yes, I feel good about it. But my biggest thing is, even for myself, I try to look in the mirror and I want my kids to look at somebody that they aspire to be. And that's what I want to tell them today, the way his kids look at him. If the kids knew some of these things, that mistakes he's made, you want to make sure you're making a proper decision so you don't discourage your kids or you can't be around your kids, because I see him love on them on Sundays. I see him hugging them. I see his arms around them, man. Just to kind of watch that, it's just tough to hear what's going on today.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell Judge Stevens in this decision that he has to make as to whether to put him in the penitentiary or to allow him to be remain on probation?
Well, Judge, it's hard to deal with these type of instances. Even the emotion he showed earlier. As I stated earlier, I wish I could have walked up here and said, calm down, you got it. But what I'm most proud of is when we talked about this, he said, I'm taking accountability. I'm not making excuses. I'm admitting to what I did. And whatever the results are, I'm just going to live with it. And a lot of people don't do that. You know, everybody's looking for a way out. And just to have the level of maturity to say, whatever the results are, I live with it. And me coming today was based upon what I've seen in his growth. You know, when you see a brother falling or struggling, specifically brothers who might not have an older brother or father figure, me as an older man, I want to grab him and pull him up. I don't want to leave him down there. People ask me to come speak often. I won't, because if I can't physically see you're making improvements and doing the right thing, the last thing I'm going to do is attach my name to that. So that's why I chose to come today, because I have physically seen it. I seen the growth. I seen what he's doing in business. I understand celebrating when you accomplish a milestone, but like Judge said, the celebration wasn't the issue. Choosing to drive the vehicle was the issue, specifically with a kid in the car. But you having kids, I definitely understand that as well.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing further.
So
Thank you.
I have a few questions, but before we get started, my memory is that, have I represented you in the past?
me?
I'm just checking.
No, sir.
It seems like every time I'm confusing you with someone I dealt with, and to be fair, it's a domestic.
Yeah, I've never been arrested.
No, it wasn't criminal.
Okay.
I'm remembering a
The man's
domestic.
an elected official here.
No, it was a domestic case well before I ever came to the DA's office.
No,
All
not
right,
me at all.
good, fair enough. If that was true, then I had to disclose it for the record.
Okay, no, not
That's
at
the
all.
only reason. All right. So secondly, number one, I appreciate you coming up and I take to heart what you're saying, that you take your name serious and you don't just throw it around.
No,
Brother,
never seen
your
that before.
your reputation is something to be valued, and I appreciate it. When you talk about Mr. Jubert, your dealings with him is church, right?
Mhm.
Just like,
Church and stop the violence.
okay, and you just like since Tommy Coleman's the only prosecutor in the courtroom right now, he and I know each other professionally. We work together, right? And I have my opinions about him. We see each other in work, just like I have friends in church. I see them in church. If I go to the gym, I've got friends at the gym, right? And we develop opinions based upon what we see during the time in which we see them, right? And based upon what you've seen, that's what you're giving the judge here today, right?
Yes, sir.
Today, did you learn about the indecent exposures?
Today was my first time learning about that. Yes, sir.
All right. It's not something shared in church,
No.
right? Were you aware that he went to TYC?
Yes, I was aware that he went to TYC.
Did you know that
he's been in and out?
He's been in and out of trouble? You've known that,
Yes, sir.
right? Did you know what he went to TYC for?
No, I know he's been in and out of trouble a lot. I don't know the specifics of every time he's been.
Did you know that he was placed on probation for robbery?
Yes, sir. I did know that.
You know that that was revoked,
Yes, sir.
and he went to prison for that.
Yes, sir.
And it was within a year that he picks up these charges that placed him on probation.
Yes, sir.
And it's within a year after getting this probation that he picks up a new charge.
Yes, sir.
And yet you still have all that opinion.
Yes, sir. I still feel good about this young man.
Is there anything you could have done to prevent him from driving with it while intoxicated with a child in the car?
It's nothing I could have done. No, sir. I don't think it's nothing nobody could have done.
So are you aware that the lady that was the passenger in the car that day tried to talk him into letting her drive?
No, sir. I wasn't aware.
Do you think you could have talked him out of driving that day? Maybe you could have drove instead?
I definitely think I could have.
What greater ability do you have versus the lady he chose to spend the night with, who happens to be the mother of that child?
Men, and let me explain this to you when I say men, like a father figure. I know if I can look at a young man and I can convince a young man to do something, I also know I have the physical strength, if necessary, to stop a man from
I'm smiling because I understand where you're coming from.
Yes, sir.
If he wouldn't have listened to you, you would have made him.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
Right. You willing to sign up for that for however long he's on probation?
Am I willing to sign up for what, sir?
Be there physically to make sure he does what he's supposed to.
Yes, I will be there physically for him.
All right. No further questions.
Anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you.
Anything else to add by the parties?
Yes, sir, we have, we call Gary Senegal.
And please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
Gary Senegal.
And, Mr. Senegal, could you,
Is it Senegal or Senegal?
Senegal.
Gar, yeah.
AUR.
Yes. And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'll do a lot. I'm president of Stop the Violence, father, grandfather, part-time in Rogers, truck driver, ex-correction officer, activist.
Could you explain to the court what is your involvement with this young man that we have here?
I met him while I was at the jail, and I watched him. I watched him change, and he actually got better. You know, as I saw him, and after he got out, he was a trustee. Came in as he was a regular inmate. Then I was known around the jail for talking to the guys, talking to some certain young men. You know, and I watched him. He actually changed. Listened to him. Had to pop him a couple of times, but he listened.
And the information that you've been sitting in the audience and the information that you've been hearing about what he's doing now in the construction company and several things that in this nonprofit organization stuff that you've heard all of that, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. Of course, the issue before the court is whether to put him in the penitentiary or to place him on probation. The man that you know that he is meant, you feel comfortable making a recommendation that that the judge could allow him to be on probation, extended probation, and that we will not see this young man again before this court.
I stand on it because I listen to everything that he says that happened. I know about a lot of it, but I just want to say if God will allow some of our past transgressions to be read out loud, it would sound worse than that. You know, everybody in this room, yeah, hidden stuff. You know, it's just exposed, and it's not to make light of it. But like Albert said, a lot of these young guys, young black men, young men, they need the father figures. A lot of them don't have it. And it's not to condone it or to make excuses of it, but that's why I'm here. You know, I feel like I feel it. You know, I have sons as well, you know, and sometimes they slip through the cracks, you know, but does that mean he's jailed or jailbird? Is he a convict? Is he an inmate? No, he's not. I've been in the profession. I've been in that business for a long time. And if I don't BS, I don't like to waste people's time. Time is money and it's his time. If he wasn't that person, I wouldn't be standing around here. I would say, yeah, he belongs in jail. Jail is what's going to rehabilitate him. But he's not, that's not the character that I see. And
Thank you, sir. That's what it is.
I don't have any questions for you, but I know you and I've talked on the phone before. I remember before you started the Stop the Violence.
Yes.
But I 100% appreciate everything you're doing for our community. So
Thank you.
but the good work.
Yes.
And Judge will remember you testified last week. So you're making a habit out of this. When we're going to see you on next week. All right. Thanks, sir.
Last witness is Todd Broussard.
And please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please lower your hand, sir.
And for the record, sir, please state your name.
William Todd Russo.
And Mr. Broussard, what do you do for a living?
A lot of things. Entrepreneur,
Okay.
sales manager for Tees to Your Door. I run a nonprofit called the Mentorship. And I
do Airbnb businesses. So that's what things is.
Could you explain to the court, what's, your involvement with the young man that we have before the court, Mr. Jupiter?
My knowing Devontae stretches back to, I started substitute teaching in the district in 2010. I was working for Channel 4 before that as the media manager. Corporate did layoffs, so I resorted to the school. As I was in the schools, I met the young man in middle school. I want to say 2011 or so. He was a fighter. Yeah. He would get into it with kids at school, and I tell him, I said, you know, if you like to fight, you might need to go and get paid for it. You know, turn that into a business or structure any of that anger. We take it and push it towards something positive. Little did I know, later Miss Regina Rogers would take me down to Minnie Rogers, and I saw Devontae there. That was my first visit. It was an eye-opening situation. So I'm like, man, I see so much potential. At that moment, I knew, and I'm gonna say at that moment, when we were in school, I saw the potential. So when I was brought there for that moment, I saw him, I gave him some urban words. He lit up, lit up. Now, did he have his bouts? Was I there all the years? Well, we were back and forth. Of course, he served his time. But when he came back, I've never seen like this before. Never in my life have I seen him to his stature of a man before. I can honestly say, if for one, the accountability, the upfront taking responsibility for his actions, first and foremost. I truly believe that if he was where he is today, he might have fought this case and possibly won. Financially wise, let me say that. I also believe that because of his truthfulness and taking accountability, he told me that then. I asked him, please don't sign for a 10-year deal. I asked him personally, especially it not being deferred. But he said, man, I'm going to do it. But he was also, again, frightened.
And that was on the probation.
That was on the probation that he took. That was my first time encountering Stan. But I will say this, and I will say this to you and your honor. Mr. Hammond and I had a conversation after he got the DWI. And he specifically told me, I have him in my crosshairs. And took that 2 weeks. Took that as in, okay, I see crosshairs as in a scope, hunting, or I could understand coming from him being a prosecutor that, oh, I'm going to get him. So my request, and from what I see now, that this young man, regardless of what he has been through, regardless of the decisions he has made, I seriously doubt that you will see him again.
So the issue before the court is whether to put him in the penitentiary or to allow him to remain on probation.
Yes, sir.
The man that you know now, the way he is now, do you think he is worthy of being given a second chance and being continued on and be placed on probation?
Yes, sir. I do believe that he should be in probation. I will also say this to Mr. Ham. The other conversation we had was about Paul, who also wrote Romans in the Bible, saying Paul went to prison. I get it. I understand. But he also wrote Romans 8:34. If God be for us, who can be against us? So that being
Is
said,
there anything else that you think you need to tell the judge that would be helpful in the issue before the court?
we'll say, you know,
Thank you. Nothing further with this witness.
Right. So no offense to the other three gentlemen that have been character witnesses. You've been with him the longest.
yes, sir.
And the reality is that every time he's come to court, you've been here
Recent.
all through this current situation. We've seen you every time.
Recently.
That's why we've had conversations.
I wasn't there before he went to prison. So that's right.
But you were here when he took the probation deal.
Yes, sir.
And had anybody asked you and placed you under oath, that same day you would have said same stuff you said today, which is we're never going to see him again. He's never going to commit another offense. In fact, you told me that day.
Did I tell you that?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
You're under oath. We'll go with your answer.
Yes, sir.
You don't remember us saying that.
I spoke to you about, I said, if he is taken in our custody, and I
Yes,
said
sir.
custody, I'm sorry. If he's taken under our
Tutelage, your program.
tutelage,
Yes, sir.
programs, we're gonna mold him.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna mold him.
Did you do that?
Yes, I believe
And was that before this new offense?
that was the beginning.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But this happened anyway,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Man falls 7 times. Get back up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
As I
That's in the
said,
Bible, by the way.
Yes, sir.
as I said with the pastor, there's only been one perfect man that's walked this way.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
it's not any of us in this courtroom.
Yes, sir.
Right. Thanks, sir.
Anything else?
Nothing about this witness.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to ask my client, is there anything before we submit this to the court? Is there anything else that you would like to tell the court in closing?
Yes. To all three of y'all, I understand, man. I'm done. You say, I know you say you heard it, this and that. Y'all not gonna see me.
Anything else?
That's it.
That's all we have to.
I have no questions of him, Judge.
What are y'all asking for? Stay.
Sir,
What are you asking?
I'm going to respond. I'm going to let him start,
Go
Judge.
ahead, Bruce.
General, on the new case of ZWI, we're asking that he was given probation and that it run concurrent with the court allowing him to for the court to extend his probation term on this abating detention, not revoke his probation and allow him to continue under whatever terms the court deems appropriate to remain on probation, and that's what we're seeking.
My opinion hasn't changed, Judge. I appreciate and I love and respect the gentlemen that have showed up for your behalf today, Mr. Juber. The harsh reality is that the original incident that got him started down this path that you're making this decision today on, those misdemeanors are just horrible. And Lamar was doing everything they could to try to find who was involved in that. And what I've witnessed today is the same thing that's continually occurred. It's a man who accepts responsibility in quotes, but offers so many different explanations and reasons why it's not as horrible as it sounds. But the reality is, it is as horrible as it sounds. He was wagging his genitalia at 2 different college girls in Lamar in 2022, less than a year after getting out of prison. We did not teach him a lesson on good charactered men. I did not hold his feet to the fire. I did not seek his time in prison whenever he was up on the trial docket on this evading detention with a motor vehicle. And it is not like he keeps trying to tell the court. I remember the evidence. I know what the witnesses would have testified in the trial. There was a high rate speed where he did disregard stop signs. He put people at risk. It was a clean and clear evading. Yet he started probation. And not even 8 months later, he's in a vehicle, drunk twice the limit, with a lady who tried to talk him out of driving because she was worried about her child. We're lucky that we're not here on some kind of manslaughter charge, which Your Honor seen too many of. I can't in good confidence, in representing the county, recommend anything other than an 8-year sentence on the underlying charge, which is the evading. And I leave it to Your Honor's discretion as to what should be done on the DWI.
Anything else?
Well, just, I mean, Mr. Ham is putting great emphasis on those misdemeanors that occurred prior to he being placed on probation for, for this evading. And my client has taken, just a probable cause affidavit does not prove the allegations that Mr. Ham is trying to convince the court that is true, and he is in fact under oath denied some of the allegations, some of the statements that are contained in those probable cause affidavits. It appears to me that the state is wanting this court to revoke his probation and punish him for the allegations that are stated in those probable cause affidavits, and I would submit to the court that is not the issue before. He has been proven that he is a businessman. He's done work for the Antioch Church, of all things, and he's smack dab in the middle of being highly involved in a nonprofit organization called Stop the Violence. He's just simply not the same man that he's had in the past. He has been truthful with the court. He has taken responsibility. And this is a young man who I feel, if the court would give him the chance, that he would be successful on probation. You would not see him before. Yeah.
All right. Let me get I need some clarification.
Yes, sir.
The robbery conviction earlier, he was convicted. Was that 10 years regular probation in 2019?
Yes.
And was it revoked?
Yes.
And you were sentenced to what? 4 years. All right.
Here's the packet of information, Judge.
Okay, thanks. Here.
Yes, sir.
The evidence is before the court. The court has reviewed the court's file and listened to the evidence presented in the arguments of counsel and also the statement made by the defendant. In this first case, this motion to revoke probation in 23 CR 168. Okay, there's some changes that need to be made on the paperwork y'all fixed. Number one, it said prosecution will proceed only on counts 1, 2, and 3. He pleaded to 1 and 2.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to correct that. And the agreement by the parties that the agreement is that whatever sentence in the disposition of this case is going to run concurrently with 156, that the defendant is going to be entering a plea of guilty to the state jail felony of driving while intoxicated, which was based upon the allegation in the motion to revoke probation, allegation number 1 out of the 2, the defendant pleading true to driving while intoxicated with a child passenger, and also being at a location other than his residence after he was on his curfew order. Correct?
That's correct.
Um, if I follow this agreement, he has no right of appeal, but y'all mark through that.
Yes,
He
sir.
has no right of appeal if I follow this, right?
That's correct.
Okay. It's reflecting otherwise, then we gotta fix this. And then the agreement on this new indictment, the state jail felony, again, this is unagreed, right?
Correct.
And it's, what are we doing? Whatever the court does, are y'all waiving right of appeal or anything like that?
Yes, Your Honor, that's why it's, we've got a signed deal that whatever you decide, we'll agree to run it concurrent. So if you do probation, we'll agree that those terms run concurrent. If you do prison and state jail time, we'll agree that that time runs concurrent. It's all a part of him accepting the responsibility today.
Then, nothing further to add. Let's take these up in numerical sequence. We have 23 CR 168, the motion to revoke probation in the defendant's case, and the court is going to make the following findings after listening to the evidence presented and the arguments of counsel. That, again, the defendant was placed on regular probation as he entered his guilty plea for the third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle on January 28th, 2025. He was mentally competent to enter his guilty plea at that time. There was sufficient evidence supporting his guilty plea to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And the court found the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon the plea agreement that was reached. The defendant was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and that was suspended. He was placed on regular probation for 10 years. In today's hearing, the defendant admitted violating the terms of condition of probation by committing the offense of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated with a child passenger under 15 years of age on or about August 30th, 2025, which would have been 7 or 8 months into his probation. And also, he pleaded true to being at a location other than his residence at approximately 1:08 a.m. on or about August 30th, 2025. Each of these allegations, 1 and 2, are violations of his probation order, as he was required to abstain from committing any offense against the laws of the state or any other state or the United States. And also, he was required to be inside his home every day between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. The court finds that there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. The defendant pleaded true to these allegations voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. That is enough to grant this motion by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. It is so granted. Your probation is hereby revoked, and you are facing no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison. And from the evidence presented, the court finds that it is in the best interests of justice to assess your punishment at confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 2 years. You have served about half a year. You will be given credit for all that time you have served. This sentence shall run concurrently with what is about to happen here in this 26 CR 156. In this case, the court finds that the defendant under this case, you were charged with this indictment on or about August 30th, 2025, committing the state jail felony of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated with a child passenger. And you are pleading guilty to that, sir, today, correct?
Yes, sir.
You were doing this voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, based upon discussions with your attorney. And there is sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. As State's Exhibit 1, which is admitted into this hearing, states that you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. It is freely and voluntarily made. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. And you are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses. In this case, you are facing no less than 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail. I find the evidence submitted sufficient to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I hereby find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this offense. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the state jail for a term of 2 years. And listen closely. That's going to be suspended. You will be placed on regular probation for 5 years. There will be terms and conditions of probation, which are normal and customary for this type of offense. Most importantly, we're going to focus on some of the issues that we've addressed that you have kind of fought with in your composure, and we will help you. We want you to get across the finish line. These sentences are going to run concurrently with each other, by the way. So what happens is you have a few months, maybe, or less to complete the service of this sentence of 2 years that the court has assessed on this case that you were on probation for. And again, we can't take lightly the major reason that you are revoked is because you had, my God, a child in the car. And it is a felony to operate a motor vehicle with a child passenger. We can't ignore that. It has consequences. It's a felony. You got 2 felony convictions. You've had 2 felony convictions even before today. You got to be careful. Those 2 felony convictions, a third felony above a state jail felony, you're looking at 25 to life. So for yourself and for the betterment and well-being of your family that you profess that you love, which I think you do, you put the child in harm's way, and that you have to be held accountable for. And these are all issues that are fixable. Plus, you are surrounding yourself with people who are role models and great examples. Failure is not an option for you, especially with your surrounding with all this support. The court finds that under these circumstances, that a 2-year sentence in this case, which is the lowest that can be given, is appropriate under the circumstances and under the changes that you have made in your personal life in commitment toward responsible behavior. But once again, it's a felony offense that you committed, and a child was in harm's way, plus others, and that has to have its own accountability. Okay, the court finds that these 2 sets of judgments are in the best interest of justice and are fair based upon what this court has heard and the evidence presented. And in this other case, this one, the second one that was unagreed, you have a right to appeal that. It wasn't an agreed decision unless you waive rights of appeal, and we will talk about that. There will be on the conditions of probation on Mr. Jobert's case here, on this second case that we're putting him on probation for state jail felony, make sure we target the issues that were addressed today on drinking and the moral reclamation therapy is a great program which helps defendants understand and appreciate decisions that they're about to make and the consequences. And it really helps folks change their method of reacting too quickly and making mistakes versus composing yourself when a decision has to be made, especially under stress, and methodically thinking through the decision for the right choice. And the moral recognition therapy, MRT, we call it, really works great for people. And it's a program that you can use the rest of your life to be a better person. Anything else?
Can I ask him one question? You have on the dating, you had a whole.
Yes, I had a phone when I left the town.
My client is saying that while he was in the penitentiary on that 4 years.
No, after the 4 years and I got out on parole revoked my parole.
Now you were on parole.
Yeah, they revoked it because of the indecent exposure, but they had the indecent exposure in the main detention.
You have to be in the penitentiary and have a detention.
Yeah, they hold on me. They can't pick me up for the main detention.
While you were, after they revoked your parole.
Jackson County.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what he's saying is that there's additional credit.
I don't know what it is, but
I'll get with the clerk here.
But
Yeah, we'll get this.
Coordinator works with TDC on that, and they will make a determination of how much it is. And if there's a challenge to it, let me know. But
yes, sir.
I've been doing this 19 and a half years, and all challenges have been proven wrong.
Yes.
In 19, they're pretty good at what they do on determining how much credit. But I don't know what they're going to do on this new case, because you're creditable in a quarter of your time, and he served almost half. So
we'll check with
it
TDC.
may be one of those where he goes in and out.
We'll check with TDC, make sure he gets proper credit.
Anything else to add on this?
No, yeah.
All right. All right. Right now, he's going to be taken into custody for the sentence. Do you need to take care of any private things with making sure that folks get what you're? No fine.
Or she's going to check TDC.
Terms and conditions which are normal and customary for DWI cases.
And remember, only you can take a bite out of crime. Bye!